Hello and welcome to the TCS Podcast, where we're dedicated to helping you achieve extraordinary growth and success by supplying you with the tools, resources, and support necessary to not only build profitable businesses, but to create a lasting impact on your families, companies, and communities. I'm Eric Guy, president of TCS, and with me today, a very special guest, guys. So all of you TCS folks who know me, and a little bit about my story. This is a great day because I have somebody who came up just the same way I did, worked his way up, Mr. Jeff Hancher. We went to the same high school.
We were just talking about it.
Yeah, we went to the same high school, and this guy's got more to offer than just going to the same high school, but grew up out in the country, and now you're doing a lot of the same things, similar things that I'm doing with leadership and everything, and we're going to unpack that today. So give us a little bit of story, because these guys love stories. A lot of them have very similar stories where they had to go against the grain, mindset, things of that nature. So let's hear your story.
Man, what a journey it has been, Eric, and thanks for having me on, and thanks for the listeners who are tuning in. The story, the journey has been a challenging one, but very fulfilling. Growing up in rural America, small town, country town. What a lot of people don't know is that I grew up in poverty, even people in high school, because you can fake it pretty well. But I had two really sick parents, a mom that battled lupus and a dad that battled chronic osteoarthritis, later developed cancer. So we were trying to make things work, and bad got to worse because of bad decisions that were being made. And it was just a really rough teenage process. Got around the wrong crowd, made a lot of bad decisions. I graduate high school. I want more out of life, but I don't know what that's going to look like. I didn't feel like I was academia. So I joined the military and took my first commercial flight to Fort Jackson, South Carolina. And I became a soldier, and it's what I needed. Had a lot of discipline and structure. I think I'm going to go to a local university here on the GI Bill. I'm a couple weeks from starting. Dad calls and tells me mom's being sent home in hospice. He's having a leg amputated. I put college on the back burner. I go home just trying to get everything set up with nurses, get things stabilized. I'm just going to get a seasonal job to help them pay some bills, help pay some rent, some co-pays on prescriptions. Didn't have a lot of talent, so I was looking for some grunt work. And I ended up applying to be a truck driver at Cintas Uniform Company in 1996. And what I thought was going to be a seasonal job ended up being a 24-year career in that Fortune 500 company, and climbed the ranks, and then later started my own company.
He went from truck driver to inside of Cintas.
Yeah,
You moved up.
12 promotions in 24 years. So fast-paced, growing company, tremendous leadership culture. I'd love to tell you I'm amazing. That's why I got the promotions, but I am a product of leadership, which is why I'm so passionate about the subject.
Yeah, that's good to know too, and thanks for telling
the
story. And by the way, guys, he's got a new book out too, Firm Feedback in a Fragile World. A lot of our contractors deal with kind of this, and this is why I asked you to come in too, because you've been on my podcast, and there's a lot of good stuff in here, and I like it too, Jeff, just because it's easier to read.
I hope so.
My book's easier to read. I didn't want like 800 pages.
100%.
Right, and there's some reflection questions in here as well, gang. But tell us about this before I forget, because there's lots of stuff I want to talk to you about. But tell us about, one, why you wrote it and who it's for.
Yeah, I wrote the book for leaders. And I will tell you this, it's for the founder, it's for the executive, it's for the mid-level leader, it's for the leader that doesn't have the title yet and they're aspiring to lead. I wrote the book, Firm Feedback in a Fragile World, because I am a product of this. And I find so often in leadership that we lean towards aggressive, toe the line, compliance driven, right? Or we have the pendulum swing the other way, which is passive.
Yeah.
And I want to be likable, right? And right in the middle is what creates the biggest impact. And what we know is when we're tough on people, but we've earned the right to be tough, it's transformational. If I were to ask anybody listening, who's your Mount Rushmore of leaders? These are 4 people that without them, you wouldn't be who you are. Were they tough on you? Yes. Did they care? Yes. That's what I'm teaching in this book, because this is something that just isn't taught. I took 10 years of succession planning notes and thought about what is holding leaders back. And I built this content into a workshop, later into a book. Simple framework, not easy, but it is absolutely teachable. And it's what I believe is holding leaders back to make the impact that's possible.
Why is it so maybe difficult for somebody to give feedback? I mean, from your perspective.
Yeah, well, that's the second half of the title. It's a fragile world,
Yeah.
right? How can we give firm feedback in a fragile world? Look, we got the likes of quiet quitting that's costing the global economy $9 trillion. We're still post-pandemic, whether anybody wants to admit that or not. Turnover is higher than it's ever been. Retaining top talent is harder than it's ever been. And so things are very fragile. Then look, you can bake in all the personal challenges that people are bringing to the workplace, which is a real thing.
Right.
And I feel like leaders are tiptoeing. And when leaders have had enough, they just go off the deep end and start throwing chairs and whatever it might be. It's very fragile. But we know that if we can be firm and fragile, we don't become bosses people report to. We become leaders that people don't want to let down.
Yeah, I'm laughing because of our upbringing. Going to the same high school. I mean, it's just down there. It's just riddled with poverty. I mean, there's there's not a lot of people that have money.
No,
where we grew up.
That's right.
In some instances that was kind of nice because you just like everybody was the same.
Yeah.
But I'm also thinking of just some of the coaches I had and where that got me and some of the feedback that they gave me early on in my career, because I just didn't know what I was doing. I was very young and successful. And when they kind of told me some things and directed that, like I wasn't a great listener, but listened to them because I respected them. They had the right.
That's the key. That is the key. I tell the story in the book. Here I am, this blue collar truck driver picking up dirty clothes. By the way, life was good. I bought my first new car, a Chevy S10 truck. This thing was, just amazing. I was getting paid $400 a week. I'm rolling in money, right? We had a 401k, medical. Things were great. But I would see these people walking around the office, Eric, and they were dressed really nice. They wore nice suits and ties, polished shoes. They drove these cars that were real fancy. You probably heard of them, Honda Accords. These people were ballers. And I'm like, who are these people? And I learned that they were salespeople. So I apply. I finally get my break in sales to find out I sucked at it.
Yeah.
But I had a leader. His name was Sean, who he saw that potential, he saw that grit, knew a little bit of my backstory. This is a guy that would stay after normal work hours and role play with me in the conference room, how to handle objections, how to give interest creating statements. He would jump in the car with me and teach me after a sales call what I did wrong. He would let me observe sales calls. This is a guy that made a pit stop one day into a Joseph A. Bank to teach me what a collar stay was. It bought me a tie and taught me how to tie a Windsor knot. This is like, you talk about deposits above and beyond. Well, check this out. One day I get a call from my dad. I'm having some sales success. I'm getting quarterly bonuses. Things are good. And one day I get a call from my dad and he said, call your brother. I need you guys at the hospital right away. It's not looking good today. Now, I'd heard this a lot of times growing up. But Dad was right. And this specific drive to the hospital was different. And I show up and I see my mom on a ventilator and it was just looking grim. And this was the day that I would hold my mom for the last time. And Eric, it rocked me. I no longer cared about the Honda Accord that I was driving. I lost all motivation. These are the people we're leading, by the way, that are going through this stuff.
Yeah.
And I went into a dark depression. And one day, Sean pulled me in his office and he said, enough's enough. I care too much about your potential and I'm not going to let you waste it. I'm gonna let you go today. You have 24 hours. You come back, and you either be the person I know you can be, or you can't be on my team.
Wow.
You have a son that's 18 months old. You have a beautiful wife. You have a dad that's counting on you to win, and I'm not going to let you waste the potential. Eric, I could get emotional thinking about what transpired after that conversation. 11 more promotions. Now traveling all over the place as an entrepreneur. I wonder so often if Sean doesn't make the deposits to give me that tough feedback when I needed it, would I be who I am today? He earned the right.
Yeah.
He went above and beyond the standard operating procedure. And I know that might sound fluffy in a blue collar world, but I'm here to tell you, blue collar, white collar, whatever it might be, in the heart of every person is a desire to improve. As leaders, we have to believe that, because this is more than a balance sheet. We're leading people to help them reach their fullest potential. I've created a life I didn't know was possible. And it's at the hand of guys like Sean.
Yeah.
Now we get the opportunity to do that.
And I think one of the things our contractors really struggle with, and I've struggled with it in the past too, is like, you can say something, it can be right, it can be factual, logical, but the fears behind it, like if I do say something, am I, the lack of talent today.
That's
I'm gonna
right.
lose this person.
That's right.
And now I've got a hole to fill, and I don't want that. So I'd rather not say it.
Because I'm
It
already
needs to be said.
understaffed.
It needs to be said. And they really struggle with that. Like, how do you have those conversations? And some of us, maybe who grew up with that, just put your nose down and you need to do it the same way I do it. It's like, well, we know that's not the right thing, but then what are we supposed to do? I guess the question that I have for you is, how do you kind of wade into some of that fear with the possibility of, well, I could lose this person if I say something.
Yeah. Yeah, it's something that we talk a lot about. In the book, we talk about the acronym FEAR.
Yep.
F is fallout. What if I have this conversation and they quit, or whatever it might be? Then you have the E, which is emotion. What if I have this conversation and they blow up? Mr. Defensive, we all have that person, right? What if I have this conversation and they cry? Look, we have that person too. Nobody wants that. Look, if you haven't made somebody cry in leadership yet, you haven't been doing it long enough, because it's going to happen. But then you have the A, which is amateur. And that doesn't mean tenure. Yeah. It might mean I've just never been taught how to lean into a tough conversation. But you have this amateur mentality of, I don't really know how to do this well, so I'm adopting how I've seen it done. That doesn't mean it's right. But then you have R, which is retaliation. What if I have this tough conversation and I don't do it well, and they tell my boss or legal or HR, and it makes me look bad? So you know what I'm going to do based off of FEAR? I'm just going to hope this fixes itself.
Right.
And what we know is it doesn't. So we got to adopt a framework to lean into this.
Yeah, I think of, going back to high school, I think of that, that era you were in there, like, we had a good group of folks, but it quickly faded after we left. It wasn't really there before we got there. I'm just curious, from the outside looking in, if you can remember,
Sure,
what those, did you see any differences then? Like, when you think back of it, I mean, I know of those differences, because those guys would still go to war.
Oh my gosh, yes.
With me. Like, if I called those guys.
Oh, they're coming.
Right now.
They're coming.
No explanation.
This is culture, and whether it's sports or family or business, we can create this, right? We can create this in any environment that we're in. We have to be careful that we're not calling ourselves family in business, because I think that's a myth. What we are creating is a dream team, right? But check this out. To that football example is we had the same leadership, but it didn't perform as well prior, didn't perform as well after, but it's the same leadership. So here's what we know. The talent that you have on your team, it matters. It absolutely matters, which is why firm feedback is so important. Because with firm feedback, one of two things happen. You coach up or you coach out. We can't just stay in lethargic and stagnant. sometimes the problem, it's not the fault of the leader, but it's the responsibility of the leader. It's either change the people or change the people, right?
Yeah.
This framework of expectations, feedback, and accountability with the deposits earn you the right to make the withdrawals. Sometimes the best thing that you can do is help somebody transition out of the culture you're trying to build, which sucks when you're already understaffed and customers are blowing your phone up saying, when are you coming? When are you coming? I can't let that go. Sometimes, we had this conversation prior, sometimes you got to be willing to go without to safeguard the culture, which we were talking about my video team and all of that. That's hard to do whenever customer demand is high.
Yes.
But I can tell you this, it is possible. It's absolutely possible. This framework, again, simple, not easy, simple. And if you start leaning into that expectations, feedback, accountability, when the accountability comes, and we know it's coming, we've earned the right through expectations and feedback.
Yeah, I think what was cool, we just, before we got in here into the studio and started taping this, had a meeting with my team, and it was cool because my daughter has been working with us for a year now. She quit her job about a year ago and came to work for us. And man, you want to talk about a tight culture fit, like she should. But what was even bigger for me hearing was there's a person out there, lots of experience, and reached out to our team and wants to come work for us. And she said, he doesn't fit our culture. And I was like, okay, then it's just
move on.
Like if that's the case, everything else probably fits. He's got lots of excitement. He fits behaviorally. It's a great experience, all that stuff. But if he doesn't, if you don't fit the culture, and I do, I mean, I see in my coaching calls with our contractors, you hear a lot about that. It's like, well, I just need like a butt in a seat. I need 3 more laborers, because right now we're in busy season. Man, it is like, let's go time.
Summertime.
And, I was, late last night, I was talking with one of our contractors, and he's just an up-and-comer, great young man, and literally like only 24 years old. And he's got his own company.
Amazing.
But, as he's listening to me, we're talking about candidates. And he's like, I know that doesn't fit. Tell me again not to go after this.
Absolutely.
Like,
yes.
Yeah, it's not going to work if I I'm putting a round peg in a square hole.
Yes.
It's just so important. But let me ask you this. Let's get into an actual culture question. How do you build a culture that doesn't survive but scales?
I would tell you, from a leadership standpoint, you have to be a visionary. Visionary leadership is so important. Where are we taking the team? Where are we taking the organization? And more importantly, where are we taking you? Simon Sinek often says people will work for their what, but they'll die for their why. I will tell you that one of my favorite leadership questions is, why is success important to you? When we're creating culture, I will tell you it's one employee at a time. I'm a big believer in one-on-one debriefs, and I know that is very unpopular in the blue-collar world, because it's like you got people spread out, especially at a job site that's remote and all of this stuff. I'm here to tell you it's the best ROI that you can get. And I know there's somebody listening that says, well, that's not how we do it in our industry. That's exactly my point. If you do what everybody else does, you're going to get what everybody else has. Can you imagine pulling somebody, off the machine? I know we're talking crazy right now, and saying, hey, I just need 5 minutes of your time. I just have a couple questions I want to run by you. Now this deposit, it's like, wow, I've been in this contracting industry for 15 years, 20 years, 25 years. Nobody has ever asked me why success is important to me. When you know that, like Sean knew that for me, he earned the right to have this tough conversation and say, listen, I know where you came from. I know what your future goals are, and I'm watching you implode, and I'm not going to let that happen. When we can create that, as hard as that is, we're earning the right to have the tough conversation. This is how culture is built. And by the way, well, you know what? It's about money, and it's about what people get paid. Chick-fil-A starts people out at $13 an hour.
Mhm.
and they got this thing figured out pretty well. You can create a culture based off of leadership and reproducing yourself into other people.
Right.
That's what we need to do.
Yeah, and I remember I'm thinking of an example now, and that was actually what's funny about this example that you brought this to mind for me is because a guy I graduated with, he and I worked for a contractor for a couple years together, like in the summers in high school, and I think a little bit into college. But he was actually a graduate from our high school too, but he had graduated like, I don't know, 10 or 12 years, had his own company, and we worked for him. But he would often have those conversations with us, and like there were big jobs he would leave the two of us on at just 18 years old. We never disappointed him. Like,
Sure.
we never disappointed him, but it was because I think he was having those conversations. He was invested in our success.
For
He
sure.
would ask us things like that, going back and thinking about this now. But we never goofed off. Never, not once.
Because of respect.
Yeah, we had respected him. We wanted that job done well because we felt like we were part, and we were only like at that point in time. I mean,
Like, why would you care?
yeah, we were probably making $5 an hour.
Yeah.
like it was.
Yeah. Right.
That was back in the early '90s. So I mean, that was
Yeah, it's
okay
it
wage.
transcends the paycheck on Friday, truly. And I'm not saying like shortchange people, pay people well. But here's the thing, and I said it earlier, the goal is not to be a boss people report to. The goal is to be a leader people don't want to let down.
Yeah.
Your Mount Rushmore, those 4 that you look up at and say, if it wasn't for them, these are people you don't want to let down. This is the difference between managing and leading, truly. To put it in industry terms, managing is making sure the machine runs. Leading is the machine wants to run better.
Yeah.
I want to run better. This is extra mile type stuff. I saw a cartoon recently where the boss was looking over the employee, and the bubble on the boss was, "Why aren't you working?" And the bubble on the employee was, "Because I didn't see you coming." Right? And it's like, oh, we have a compliance culture here. And man, I hope I don't hit any nerves with this. But I can't imagine anybody gets up out of bed and they're heading to the work site and they're like, you know what? I'm so fired up about asphalt. I just get so juiced about laying asphalt. Put it in my terms. I get so excited about picking up sweaty, nasty, coal-infested, greasy uniforms. No. You know what I get juiced up about? Working my way out of poverty. Making sure that my parents never have to cut a pill in half to stretch a copay. I'm going to tell you this. When you get into the depths of that conversation and you can help somebody reach potential, you get loyalty, you get gratitude, you lower turnover, your people become an ambassador. You need to come here and work. Eric is different. This isn't about living for the weekend over here. It's different. And I'm going to tell you this, when I got here, this is what I knew. But now, this is what I know. And I've been promoted 12 times because of this.
Yeah.
And now I graduated from a Chevy to a Honda to, not that things matter. Things aren't the most important. But when we can give somebody skill and develop them, hey, check this out. Not only are we making people better, we're creating leadership legacy. And my gosh, is it good for the balance sheet.
Yeah. Speaking of balance sheet, let's move from business to personal.
Yeah.
Because I want to talk. This isn't in anything that I sent you, so forgive me.
Let's do this.
But
Open book.
I know how important it is for you, as it is for me, leadership in the family.
Yes.
Like, because I've been busy. I've been a road warrior, as you have.
Yeah.
Coming back and being able to lead the family. Do you want to speak on that at all? Like, any tips that you would tell these guys? Because, these guys are banging out 14, 16-hour days. Some of them are, I talked to a couple of our members. They were both in a truck yesterday trying to get stuff done with us, and they were 2 hours away from their office at a job site. Like, what can you say about how to lead family?
Yeah.
Well,
Let me talk to the young person first.
yeah.
Marry well. Marry well.
We both did that. I haven't met my wife yet.
Oh, I
went up like,
oh,
eight levels.
I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, people say all the time, like, how in the world did she marry you? And I'm like, because I'm good at sales. I fooled her. I don't know, right? Like, she is amazing. It's not really about right or wrong. It's being on the same page.
Yeah.
We know what we're chasing. Look, I didn't come home from a 16-hour day and say, man, I feel so good. I did it for the family. I came home exhausted. If I was traveling around in corporate, I might have done 4 cities in 4 days. I hated being away from my family, but my why drove me. Now look, that can get toxic too, right? Because it's like, you're trying to create validation from childhood trauma or whatever it might be. But I'll tell you this balance that we're all fighting for, it's impossible. So my advice is to be in the moment. Don't miss the big things. When my daughter was up for homecoming queen, I created a schedule that if I had to drive from Midway Airport, if there was a delay, I had time to do that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not missing that stuff. I'm going to be at the playoff game. It's very hard because, especially in the industry that's listening, it's very demanding and it's seasonal, moment in time stuff. And so you feel like you miss a lot, but I will tell you this, time doesn't just mean, look, I know people that come home every night and work a 9 to 5 and have miserable families. And I know people that are road warriors like me and you that have a tight-knit, close cultural family. Just make sure that whenever you have any time that you're making the right deposits. It's absolutely critical. And in that moment, you will look back because we all know it goes fast.
Yeah.
But those are deposits into your spouse. Those are deposits into your kids. Because leadership does start at home. We don't want to gain the whole world and lose our families.
Yeah.
What would be the point in that? And sometimes that means making change and sacrifices to make sure that that's intact. But if mama ain't happy, nobody's happy. So we got to make sure we're taking care of business.
Yeah, I'm glad I asked you that. Thank you for that answer.
It's important.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Easy to remember too. So.
For sure.
All right, you ready for this? I'm going to do some rapid fire.
Yeah.
I love some of the stuff that you say. So this first one is good. So favorite leadership quote.
It's probably not a leadership quote, but it's one of my favorites. It's a quote that says, if you lack confidence in self, you're twice defeated in the race of life. But with confidence, you have won before you begin. This confidence thing, it's the 8th wonder of the world. And then comes the question of, well, how do you get confidence? Like, you can't just teach somebody, we'll just be more confident. Everybody on planet Earth is in one of 4 camps. Camp 1 is, I hope it doesn't come up. Camp 2 is, if it comes up, I'll wing it. Camp 3 is, if it comes up, I'm ready to talk about it. But then there's Camp 4, and Camp 4 is, if it doesn't come up, I'm bringing it up. And that's not because I'm arrogant, because I'm in Camp 4 and I see it as a duty and obligation. When you get into Camp 4, you have confidence. A trauma surgeon isn't sitting in the ER saying, I hope nothing happens tonight. That would be horrible. No, they're almost on the edge of their seat in a crazy kind of way, hoping trauma comes so they can use their gift.
Yeah.
Now that takes time, that takes effort. And here comes the second quote. Are you willing to give up what you want now for what you want most? Camp 4 doesn't come easy, but when you get there, you have confidence. When you have confidence, you win more, you serve better.
Good stuff. Best decision you made in the last year?
I'm going to say it, from a professional standpoint, it was releasing my book. I'm going to admit this publicly. I battled imposter syndrome the whole way.
Yeah.
A little bit of that, me write a book. I'm not even college educated. I grew up in the small town in poverty. Who am I? I'm writing a book with Maxwell Publishing and Simon & Schuster. This is crazy. Do I even know what I'm doing? But I kept pushing through all the discomfort because it's like, look, no matter what this book ends up doing from a result standpoint, if one person reads the book and they can find that young Jeff Hancher and transform them, I'm in.
I agree.
From a personal standpoint, it was coaching my son through the dating process. And man, was it rewarding, Eric. Like, he was locked in the whole way and found the one. And it was this moment where dad is mentor And it was, I mean, just an amazing thing. And he put the ring on it last week. They're getting married. And just to be a part of that process, oh my gosh, leadership starts at home. It's like the most beautiful thing. So yeah, you can win in business and keep winning at home. So I know you asked for one, but there's
Yep. Most underrated leadership trait.
vulnerability. Vulnerability, probably underplayed, especially in a blue collar environment.
Yeah.
I've worked in
Absolutely.
blue collar environments, and there's a lot of cultures in blue collar that are rub dirt in it and take a lap. And I'm here for it, right? But I think that can go so poorly in culture that people show up and fake it a lot. There's this feeling of perfectionism. What we know is innovation comes by feedback, mistakes, all these things. I'm not saying like show up to the Monday meeting as a leader and tell them that you had a wart removed on Friday. Like that's over the line, vulnerable. But saying, hey, you know what? I'm not perfect. I made this mistake. I let you all down. Anything that you guys think I could have done differently. This kind of vulnerability. Oftentimes leaders overcompensate how they show up full of armor and bulletproof. That's fake. No, but none of us are like that. When you allow a little bit of vulnerability, and here's why leaders don't do it. They feel like if I'm too vulnerable, I'm going to be taken advantage of.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's where the third piece of the framework comes in, which is accountability.
Yeah.
People are going to try to take advantage of leaders that make big deposits. That's going to happen. You draw a line, and if a toe drops over that line, you're coming in to hold them accountable.
Mm-hmm.
But I will tell you, vulnerability is the pathway to culture.
Yeah. Good stuff. One book other than your own every contractor should read.
For me, it's The 5 Levels of Leadership, Maxwell. This is the gift that keeps giving. Now look, he's written a lot of good books, Jim Collins, Michael Watkins. You could go down the list. There's not enough time to talk about, the libraries of books that I've read, but this 5 levels of leadership, what a framework to go from day one business card says leader to legacy, where you leave something behind. The blind spots of each level, how to get to the next level, the belief systems, how to bolt on and not forget the past level when you're moving on. Like the 5 levels of leadership, I think is not a book you read and throw on the shelf. I think it's one that you pull back out and continue to study.
Yeah. Yeah. We've had him a couple years ago at one of our retreats.
Amazing.
At TCS, and he's knows what he's talking about.
There's no question about
Good
it.
recommendation.
Yeah.
Next one, your go-to morning routine essential.
Oh man, this is going to sound super silly. I'm just going to tell you what it is. It's not even anything fancy.
I like it.
I don't drink green juice and stand on my head for 15 minutes. This is my morning routine.
Yeah.
When I'm awake, which I don't even set an alarm anymore, just boom, I'm up. One thing that I realized, and this is a mentor telling me this, is I need to slow down. I run fast. I love immediate gratification. I love to crush results. I don't reflect well. So every morning now, what I do is I get up, I use the restroom. I don't even brush my teeth. I go back to bed and I lay there for about 45 minutes. And I literally lay there in silence. I can't do it any other time of day because my brain is already 5 miles down the road. But I lay there, I pray. And then I spend time reflecting on what has happened recently. What does my day look like? I kind of go through mental routine. If you ever seen those military pilots, the Blue Angels.
Yep.
If you ever watch their pre-routine where they're calling it and they're moving and they're all doing it together, I try to visualize my day and I think about what can I do to present the best outcomes. And then I think about my blind spots and how I might have blew a conversation with my daughter or an employee on our team or a client. And I think about what could I have done better. So sum it all up, the morning routine that's had the biggest impact on my life is slowing down and reflecting.
Yeah. I've asked you that before. That's why I like that answer.
Man, it's changed.
I'm glad you shared it with our
It's
clients.
changed my pursuit.
And then one word that describes for you, I'm going to put it in air quotes here, champion contractor.
Service. I read the book recently. Help me out. Unreasonable Hospitality.
Yeah.
I would say this can be the ultimate differentiator. And as it relates to contracting, I think the restaurant industry gets it. I think the hotel industry gets it. But I will tell you this: you hear more negative feedback about the service industry, and I would say contracting is in there. Of like they didn't show up, they didn't call back. It's just rapid pace. I believe the companies, especially in the world of AI, the companies that take this extreme uber focus on service internally to our teams,
Yeah.
and externally to our customers, the referrals are coming. Both internally, you need to work here.
Yeah.
Externally, look, because here's what we know. I'm going to hit a nerve on purpose here. All paving companies are the same. Like, if you're a paving company and just heard that, I just stabbed your heart, right? But if the consumer feels that way, then we have work to do, because we're here to prove that's not true. Because we don't just pave lots. We service customers.
Mm-hmm.
And here's what that looks like. Look, I love Chick-fil-A sandwiches. They're tasty. They're not that great.
Right.
The experience, oh my gosh, it hits different. I believe we can accomplish that in the fast-paced world of service and contracting in a way that we stand out, and people are talking about our go-to-market strategy. I go buy the best equipment, do the training, have great succession planning, hire the right lead, do all those things. But if you do what everybody else does, you're going to get what everybody else has. When you service at a 10 in an industry that's not known for it,
That's correct.
it's separation season. It's over.
Yeah.
Will it take investment? 100% it will. But the return, if you can get through the gap of low return to see it, I'm here to tell you it's game over.
Yeah.
Service.
And that's exactly what we're trying to do here at TCS.
Beautiful. Beautiful. What a
Appreciate you
resource.
being on, man. You coming back?
I will be back.
All right.
I will be back.
Well,
And
very
thanks for
good.
having me.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for joining us, guys. I hope you got a lot out of this. There's so many good nuggets, Jeff. So many good nuggets. But guys, that's a wrap for today for the TCS podcast. Until next time, keep leading, keep growing, and keep winning. We'll see you next time.